Shalom, Apostle Hall coming back at you with this truth, giving all praise to Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem, Rakah Kodash. And I'm going to entitle this, All Hell Will Break Loose from America and from Iran. I don't know if that's the best title, but that came to mind. So anyway, this is from an article from RT News out of Russia. The title is of the article is it was put up June 2nd, 2019, year of Karagma. First bullet fired in the Gulf will make oil prices jump above $100. Tehran. Right now, matter of fact, let me go to it. I always reference things, so let me go to it. Let me put in oil prices. See what it says. Oil prices. Okay, this says crude oil prices. Okay, it's about at anywhere from 50 plus dollars. So, I mean, you can do your own research. Anyway, if it goes up to 100, basically it's going to double. So that means what we're currently paying now for gas, I would say in the northeast, is anywhere from a low of 279, 280, 285 to $3 plus. In some places it's like $3. Some areas that I drive through is almost up to $4. So we're talking, we'll go to the lowest price out there that you can find, which is about, let's say, $2.80. So we're talking what it should double. I don't know how the oil prices, the barrel price, which is about $50 plus. I don't know how it translates into gas, but I would say that it's going to at least double. So if you're used to paying $3, almost $3, you're going to pay closer to $6, and the masses are not going to be happy about that. And you know, this guy Trump, he's showing that he's a big dummy. Either they're using him and they're playing him, but he's really making a mess of this world. You know, he levies tariffs against certain people. He levied a tariff, 5% tariff against Mexico, because they're not doing anything about the Mexicans coming to this country. But he had just made there was a business, how can I say, contract that they had. They had some business agreement with Mexico. So you don't make an agreement, a business agreement, dealing with goods and then turn around and throw, levy a tariff on that country. And he said that tariff, 5% tariff, is going to eventually go up to the 25%. In China, there's a 25% tariff, and the Chinese they levied a tariff, which is a tax against American farmers. So the American farmers in the Midwest, that includes so-called black farmers, they're catching hell now. So now Trump has to give them aid. So it's like he turned it into like a welfare state, this farm industry in America. What's happening with Trump is he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. I believe they set him up to be the president. and they're basically using him as a front man. Now, there's talk about how many Democrats, how many fucking Democrats are set up to as candidates to be the next nominee to come up against Donald J. Trump. Excuse me. This is such a weak group of Democrats that I believe that Donald J. Trump will be the president. He'll be reelected for a second term because the current, like I said, the current Democratic candidates are weak. Just weak as hell. The top runner is a guy, Buttigieg, Pete Buttigieg, or whatever the hell his name is. He's openly gay. He's married to another Edomite man. And he always talks about how much he loves his husband. I mean, it would be nice if he'd be president, because that'll give us a lot of things to talk about, you know. But this place is fucking done, you know. You should listen to guys. There's one guy I listen to a lot named Chris Hedges, and he basically trashes America. He says America's done. You know, this place is gone. It's finished. It'll never be great. And here you got Trump talking about he's going to make America great again. Here he is going into his third year. And he made America worse. I remember when Obama, which he was nothing but an empty suit. You know, he was there to just for 8 years to keep the seat warm for this clown, Trump. Anyway, I remember at least the last 2 years of Obama's presidency, gas prices at certain places was $1.89, $1.99, $2.10. The highest was like maybe $2.15. And then maybe a year and a half in of the Trump administration, the prices just shot up. So now with this crisis over in Iran, it's going to shoot up. Well, they said above $100, and that's coming out of Tehran, Iran. Anyway, I don't even have to read it. What I'll do is I'll just leave the link in the description box, and I'll just pick out a few lines or paragraphs. Anyway, it says here, the first bullet fired in the Persian Gulf will push the oil prices well above $100. It will be unbearable for the U.S. and Europe. And who's going to get the blame? They're going to blame Trump. But you're going to have those hardcore Trumpets, people that follow Trump, that basically say he can do no wrong. And they'll go out and spend the money proudly like fucking idiots. He made a statement. He said he loves his poorly educated. Yeah, because you can take advantage of these idiots. As it goes on to say, as well as American allies like Japan and South Korea. So, and this is the beginning of the nations hating the whore. And I'll read that in Revelation 17 chapter. Let me read this here. Let me continue on. It says, Safavi, who has led the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, in the past stated that Washington prefers to wage economic and psychological war against the nation. The U.S. knows there will be significant costs should a full-fledged conflict erupt, he said. And this is right out of the scriptures. Goes on to say your forces will be, quote, your forces will be exterminated. Hezbollah warns U.S., Israel, and Saudi Arabia not to attack Iran. Oh, my man AJ got his ass whipped, and I said that last night to them brothers. I said, AJ, you better be careful. You're gonna get his ass whipped, and he's really just a made up guy. The guy's a bum. The guy's a big bum. He looked like the champ, but he was a big bum. He should be happy he didn't fight when the Klitschko's beat the Klitschko Vladimir, but he almost lost. Had he fought Klitschko when he was younger, he would have got beat. And had he fought his brother, he would have got destroyed. His brother, Vitaly Klitschko, would have destroyed this guy, AJ. AJ is done. He'll win a couple of fights, but he'll never become great. You know, they just made this guy. And I've been saying that. And he's been running from Deontay Wilder. I'm just going into something else, you know, for you boxing fans out there. Anyway, let's go into the scriptures. I said, what paragraph? What did I read from? Okay, it says Washington prefers to wage economic and psychological war against the nation. The U.S. knows there will be a significant cost should a full-fledged conflict erupt, he said. And that's what's going to happen. And all of U.S. allies European allies, the EU, they're going to come against America. Let's go to that. And we should know this by heart. A lot of the same scriptures keep coming up because these are prophetic scriptures. And it's happening. Habakkuk, the second chapter is happening before your eyes. Anyway, let's go to Revelation 17 and 11. And the beast that was and is not, even he is the eighth and is of the seven, and goeth into perdition. Now the eighth came out of the seven. In that lineup, you have Great Britain. America, the U.S. came out of Great Britain, so America would be considered the eighth that came out of the seven. And that's also the whore that sitteth upon many waters. Jump up to the fourth verse of Revelation 17, verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and in scarlet. This represents America, which is Babylon, also known as the great whore. And it says that she's actually, I'll read the fourth verse and the fifth verse. It says, the woman, which represents America, was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, which represents royalty, colors of royalty, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, represents America. I keep saying that, full of the abominations and filthiness of her fornication, because she had the other nations go to bed with America through their policies. Democracy is the number one policy, because all these presidents of all these different premiers of all these nations that attend the UN, and they all attend the UN. They go to the UN General Assembly in September. Their positions are representatives, ambassadors, and or presidents. Most of the time you have the actual president come to the UN, which is in New York, which is on neutral ground. That's why if a president is involved in terrorism against America, he can't be touched. Okay, that's how international law works. When Gaddafi came over, they said he was a terrorist, and the former head of Iran, under the supreme leader, they said that these guys were terrorists. They're involved in terrorism, but they could have killed them in New York, but they couldn't because the UN sits on neutral ground. That's like an international zone, so to speak. So if you're at war with another nation, You go over there, you say what you got to say, and you go. It says so that fornication is democracy. We used to say democracy in Christianity, but not all nations are following Christianity, so it's really democracy. The democratic presidential elections. You're elected. The people elect you. Anyway, it says in the 5th verse, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon. Why did it say mystery? Let's look up the word mystery. Mysterion, which means hidden thing, secret, mystery, generally mysteries, religious secrets. A hidden or secret thing, secret. So it says mystery Babylon, because you had an ancient Babylon, now you have a mystery Babylon. Anytime it's spoken of Babylon or Babylon the Great in the book of Revelation written by John the Apostle, he's not talking about ancient Babylon. You have people that claim they know the scriptures that basically say, well, that's talking about Iraq, where Babylon is in Iraq in the Middle East. And they even told the soldiers that we're going to destroy Babylon again, but they don't understand that Babylon, mystery Babylon, is America. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots. She's the mistress, and abominations of the earth. And this place, they push this whole homosexual agenda. That's why it's an abomination. Okay, abomination. The word there is
Strong's G 946. Bedelugma. Bedelugma.
Bedelugma, which means a foul thing, a detestable thing, of idols and things pertaining to idolatry. A foul thing, a detestable thing, of idols and things pertaining to idolatry. Now this guy Buttigieg, which he's openly gay and married to another Edomite man, if he becomes president, he's considered a foul thing, a detestable thing. Matthew 24 verse 15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet stand in the holy place, whoso readeth, let him understand. Now if you go to the red letter Bible and you read Matthew 24 verse 15, what was our Lord talking about? He says it here in Mark 13 verse 14. But when ye shall see the abomination, and that goes back to Revelation, we were just reading Revelation, 17 verse 5, abomination. But when ye shall see the abomination of desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet. Now what chapter was or verse was our Lord quoting from in the book of Daniel? Standing where it ought not, let him that readeth understand. And when was this prophecy fulfilled? Then let them that be in Judea flee to the mountains. Oh, this is a good one for abomination. Luke 16 verse 15. And he said unto them, ye are they which justify yourself before men, But the Most High knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of the Lord. So you have people out there that are highly esteemed to the world, but to the Lord they're an abomination. So now let's go back to Revelation 15, verse 5. And upon her forehead, America's forehead, was a name written, Mystery Babylon. This is a mystery. That's why these pastors and these ministers and these Christian leaders and as far as any religion, the Moors don't understand this. The only people that understand this book, especially the book of Revelation, are the prophets of Israel, the men of the Lord, starting from the apostles on down. We got it down packed. We didn't overpass. We have become wiser than our teachers. And that's why you see us. You shall see your teachers, pursuant to Isaiah the 30th chapter. It says, and upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, which is America. It's not a mystery to us. The mother of harlots, which is a mistress. That's also in Nahum, the 3rd chapter, and abominations of the earth. So when you got these other nations that you have men laying with men, women laying with women, that was given to them by Esau over here in America, in Europe. That's why they have laws on the book to protect homosexuals, because they're an abomination. 6th verse, Revelation 17, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints of the Israelites. Now, what is that talking about? When they came over here to the land of so-called the Americas, and they slaughtered the so-called Indian and so-called Latin tribes, and then they went over to West Africa, and they brought the 3 tribes, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, over here in America, and there was some that was thrown off the ship. There was some that they killed on the ship. There was some that wanted to escape, and they were put to death, or their foot was chopped off, or they was whipped. You devils are going to have to pay for this shit, man. It said, and I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, which is America, which goes back to when they first came over here during the time of Cristobal Colon, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her. That's NATO and the EU. Those are her backers. Those are her allies, which they're going to come against her, which have the 7 heads and 10 horns. So you have, when you go back to Revelation 13, it speaks about a deadly wound being healed. Well, that's talking about the Roman pagan empire going back a little bit more than about 2,000 years ago. And you're talking about that Roman empire being revived again, coming back to life, which is NATO, the EU, and America. Anyway, let me jump down to the 12th verse. Revelation 17, verse 12. And the 10 horns which thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet. And those 10 kings are now about 28, 29 nations, which is the EU nations, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And that hour represents approximately 42 plus years from the time of the birth of the EU until now, which that's talking about around the year 2000. Let's do the math. 58, about 2000. So Esau is basically living on borrowed time, but he's going down piecemeal. He's going down little by little. So that's that 1 hour. And does the Most High deal with exact numbers? Does the Most High deal with exact numbers? That's the question for you on that get on the comment board. It says, 13 verse, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. These shall make war with the Lamb, and the Lamb shall overcome them, for he is Lord of lords and Kings of kings. Are the one wa malak yum. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. Those are the apostles, the prophets, the elect. Jumping down to the 16th verse, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, NATO, these shall hate the whore. The whore is America. Go back to the 5th verse. Mystery, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlot and the abomination of the earth. When we looked up the word abomination, a filthy thing. '16th verse again, and the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. They're going to eventually, all the European allies, something's going to happen where all the allies of the U.S. will turn their backs on the U.S. and will destroy the U.S. So it's not just Russia. And shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. What fire is it talking about? It's talking about these missiles that the ICBMs, the flying swords. 17 verse, for the Most High have put it in their hearts to fulfill his will and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast until the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city, which is America, which reigneth over the kings of the earth. So now let's go to 2nd Ezra, the 15th chapter, and the 27th verse. It says, for now are the plagues come upon the whole earth. Last week, sometime you had 50 tornadoes touch down in the Midwest in the Bible Belt, destroying a lot of the crops and a lot of houses, and killed a handful of people. And ye shall remain in them. So this is the downfall. This is the last hurrah of America, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abomination of the earth. For the Most High shall not deliver you, because ye have sinned against him. Now we have sinned, but also Esau, because Esau took the Bible to himself and claimed to be a teacher of the Bible. So they were supposed to teach the laws. They were supposed to, the Sabbath day, all businesses were supposed to be closed. You were supposed to put homosexuals to death. Sin is the transgression of the law. Behold, an horrible vision in the appearance thereof from the east, where the nations of the dragons of Arabia, the Ishmaelites, and those Arab nations shall come out with many chariots, modern day chariots, which is instruments of war, and the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Also the Carmanians raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the woods, and with great power shall they, military power, shall they come and join battle with them. With who? With the Ishmaelites, the Arab nations, and shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. So now let me look up the word Carmanians. Although it tarry, wait for it. It shall not tarry, it shall surely come. Habakkuk 2. So we're in that time where the prophecy is being fulfilled. Carmanians. Carmania is a historical region that approximately corresponds to the modern province of Kerman, and was a province of Achaemenid, Seleucid, Archid, and Sasania Empire. The region bordered Persia in the west. So this is the Persians. Carmania. Let me look at it. You know what I'm going to do? Let me go to Carmanian Encyclopedia Iranica. The Encyclopedia of Iran. Okay, there's a lot of reading here, but let me go down to here. It says Carmanian is reflected in Elamite. So who are the Elamites? They're the Persians. The people of Iran are Elamites. Let me go to this blue letter. Let me put in the word. Let me go right here. Let me put in the word Elam or Elamite. Okay, I have to go to Elam. Elamite is not, the word Elamite is not in the scriptures. Let me go to Elam. Let's see what happens. The word Elam, which are the Elamites, which are East Indians, which are Persians, which goes back to the Carmanians, and we went to Google, we went to the secular history. It occurs 28 times and 27 verses in the KJV. The first time the word comes up is in Genesis 10, verse 22. It says, and they're Shemites. The children of Shem, Elam and Ashur and Aphaxad. We came out of Aphaxad, and Lud and Aram, which let me go on. I wanted to find a particular scripture. Bear with me for a minute. I hope I can find it. I'll find it eventually. Let me try it this way. Boy. Let me try it another way. Let's try it this way. It actually tells you, boy oh boy, 27 provinces. Okay, I believe I found it. Okay, it says Esther 1, verse 1. Now it came to pass in the days of Asuerus, this, and he was an Elamite. Oh, that's Xerxes. This Asuerus which reigned from India even unto Ethiopia over 127 provinces, which represent states. So it mentions India. It says when you jump to the third verse, in the third year of his reign, Asuerus' reign, Xerxes' reign, he featured in the 300 movie. He made a feast unto all his provinces and his servants. The power of Persia and Media, the nobles and the princes of the provinces, being before him. So it mentions India, it mentions Persia, and it mentions the king at that time, which was Asuerus. You can read about that in the book of Esther. That was a man in the book of Esther, which we in the book of Esther. And this was the same guy in the movie 300, the tall guy with all the jewelry on. And that was your secular history, and it's in the scriptures. So we had to go all the way around the world to show you that the word in 2nd Ezra 15 verse 30 is Carmanians are the East Indians, which are the Persians. The Persians, you have Pakistanis, you have Indians, East Indians in general, and you have the people of Iran, which goes back to what is that? The Aryans. The original Aryans were Elamites. So Carmanians are the people of Iran, which it was said that if one bullet is shot, the oil price is going to go above $100. It says also the Carmanians raging in there, and it said they're going to join forces with the Arab nations, and wrath shall go forth as the wild bulls of the woods, and with a great power shall they come and join battle with them, the people of the Arab, the mixed people, the Arab people. 31st verse. And then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and that goes back to Genesis 16, their wild nature. And if they shall turn themselves conspiring together, what does it mean to conspire? Two or more coming together and breathing together. So they're going to come together with the Arab nations. Then these shall be troubled and keep silence through their power, and shall flee. Let me jump down. 35th verse. They shall smite one upon another, and they shall smite down a great multitude of stars upon the earth. what does that mean by stars upon the earth? Those stars, John, John the apostle referred to that as stars falling from heavens. Those were missiles. Those are missiles coming from the heavens upon the earth. Even their own star, their missiles, and blood shall be from the sword unto the belly. The modern day sword is a missile, ICBMs, and dung of men unto the camel's hoof. And there shall be great fearfulness and trembling upon earth. Isaiah 13, Isaiah 24, Isaiah 34, Revelation 18. There's so many scriptures that come to mind. And they that see the wrath shall be afraid, and trembling shall come upon them. And then shall there come great storms from the south and from the north, and another's part from the west. So while these destruction is taking place, Armageddon, the Most High is going to use nature to destroy this place too. Let me go to the 40th verse. The great and mighty cloud shall be puffed up, full of wrath, and the star, that they may make all the earth afraid. What's going to make the earth afraid are these missiles and war in general, and them that dwell therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible star. So what does that horrible star represent? The missiles. Fire and hail and flying swords. What is a flying sword? An ICBM missile. And many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees. And I read this yesterday. I went through this yesterday. And grass of the meadows and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon. Babylon meaning America, and make her afraid. So there's going to be a time where this place is going to be afraid, you know. I'm going to say Shalom. And like I said, just read this article. Just read this article right here. And you can build on this subject. With that, Shalom.